So after this, I'll be inviting Mr. Anshul Sharma, CEO of Falcon Realty, to come and talk about will AR, VR shape the future of maritime trainings.
Uh, Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. So, I would like to start by asking a simple question. I'm sure after Captain Bajaj's presentation, everyone knows, but I would still like to ask, how many of you know what this is? Can you raise your hands if you know what this is? Okay, there are few people who do know. So the reason I asked this question is because of the topic of today's presentation, which is, will AR VR shape the future of maritime trainings? For those of you who don't know what AR VR is, AR is augmented reality, VR is virtual reality. For simplification purpose in this presentation, we'll just talk about virtual reality. Sorry, just a second. Yeah. अरे, एक आगे चलो. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Anshul Sharma. I'm the founder and CEO of Falcon Realty. So Falcon Reality is an immersive technology solution provider that works with technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality, and artificial intelligence to develop engaging virtual simulations. So why did we get started on this journey? So I was sailing on oil tankers as a deck officer. I sailed for a few years, and there was an incident that happened one day on the ship that changed the trajectory of my life. So I went to the mooring station, and we were casting off from a port, and the thick wire rope you might be knowing about, it parted, and it snapped, and it almost hit a person who was standing over there. Now this is a very shocking thing to see, and it really got to my mind. I was not able to stop thinking about it for a while. So I thought, why did this incident happen? If that guy would be standing in a slightly different position, he would have been cut from between. And I got to thinking that how can these things be reduced? How can we save more lives? And I thought that the reason this thing happened was there was some gap somewhere in the training program of somebody on that mooring station. Now, we didn't do the root cause analysis of it because it was just a near miss. But that's the reason why I started Falcon Reality. And when we started, we didn't have the technical maritime expertise. So there were really good people in the industry, leaders of the industry who assisted us in the beginning. We got a chance to work with Captain Chinna Raju at IMTC. Then now we're getting to work with Maersk as well. And also, we have partnered with ISF Group. So we are a technology company. We develop these simulations. But ISF Group is has the technical knowledge of the maritime industry to develop accurate and technically correct simulations. Now, I would like to start by just asking the simple question that why is immersion required in training? Why do we need these sort of immersiveness in the simulations which are out there? So it's directly related with what is happening with social media today. So with the advent of social media, the attention spans of everyone has gone down drastically. So like there are a lot of kids over here, like kids over here, who scroll through the internet going through these short form content videos, because of which they're not able to focus on any one thing for a long period of time. Also, there are a lot of distractions around us. So if I want to learn something new, if I want to be trained on something new, I need to focus on something for a long period of time. But maybe my phone rings, maybe my mom calls me, something happens, and I'm not able to focus because of all these distractions around us. So how does VR solve this then? So when you wear a VR headset, you go into a completely new virtual environment where you get isolated from the world around you. This directly leads to higher engagement. And when you engage with what you are doing more, you will feel more immersed in the particular simulation or training that you're going through. Also, VR engages multiple senses in our body. So when I wear the headset, what I see, what I hear is what I would do in real life as well. Now, there are certain limitations that we'll talk about later, but there's a technology with which you can actually get the sense of touch as well in the virtual world. So when we started initially, we went and talked to a lot of maritime leaders. We tried to understand what is the problem in the industry. And we realized that there are a lot of preconceived notions which are there about the technology. So people tried this technology maybe 6 years ago when it was in the nascent stages, and they have had this idea about what it is since then. So I would like to discuss a few myths which are running around in the industry. The first one is that the hardware is expensive. So this is Meta Quest 2 that I showed in the beginning. This costs, can anyone guess? Sir, no, sir. Okay. Correct, 25,000. So we are okay going out and buying an iPhone, which is worth 80,000 rupees. And I don't think this will be that expensive, Meta Quest 2. So Quest 3 is about 45,000, which is almost half the price of an iPhone that anyone would go out and buy. And Quest 3 is basically gives you most of the things that you need, most of the technologies or most of the features that you would need in a headset, just at 40,000 rupees. The other myth which is there is when people use VR, they use these controllers which have joysticks. So because it is joystick, they have this idea that it's a game. Like if I'm just moving around in an environment, it's just a game. So I would like to show a few companies. This is a list of companies who are currently using VR in their trainings. And why I show this picture is because these companies are the leaders in their industries. Even with maritime, there are a lot of companies which I talked about in the beginning, like Williamson Ship Management, Maersk Trading, HIMT. A lot of companies are now starting to use VR. But I personally talked to 2-3 of the companies on this list over here. And what the response I got from them was that the feedback that their employees are giving is very good. They are able to retain more information when they wear the VR headset, and this is incentivizing the company to spend more time, resources, and money to develop more simulations and more trainings. The third myth is it's ineffective for learning, that no, you will not learn anything in VR. So there was a study which was done by PwC. PwC is one of the biggest consulting firms in the world. So the result of that study are these 4 metrics which are shown over here. These are backed by real data. I'll not go through all of them. You can read them. The first one is 4 times faster to train in VR than in a traditional setting. My favorite is 4 times more focused than their e-learning peers. So if you're learning on e-learning, like e-learning platform, with VR, you'll be able to have 4 times more focus. The final one is it causes nausea, as Captain Gaurav rightly pointed it out, which is still there. That is a limitation of the technology. The thing is that the technology is getting better every day. And what we have seen is that with higher FPS, which is frames per second that are running in the simulation, with better ergonomics, with better user experience, the simulation becomes very smooth. So I'll not go into the technical details of why people feel nauseated, but take it one step up where augmented reality, technologies like augmented reality, basically you're seeing everything around you and you're just seeing some digital elements coming on top of the real world. So that completely takes nausea away, uncomfortable feeling away. Now, coming to the limitations of the technology. The first thing which I think everyone would agree would be content limitations, that there are not a lot of simulations available off the shelf for the industry to use. And companies have to invest their own money, they have to invest their time to develop these simulations. Hardware is not that expensive, but it costs a little bit to develop these simulations. So we have partnered with ISF Group to develop these kind of training that you see here. Some of them you can try out on our stall, which is over there. And we are trying to solve this exact problem by developing more and more content. The second is that there is an absence of touch sensation. So when I wear a VR headset, let's say I'm trying to learn how to steer a ship in VR. I wear the headset, I go near the steering wheel, I'm trying to grab it, but in reality, I'm not grabbing anything. Like my hands are just closing. What haptics does is, this is haptics technology. So these are gloves that you wear on your hands. And when you grab something in the virtual world, it applies pressure on your hand in the opposite direction, because of which you get an illusion that you're actually holding something in the virtual world. The next one is people feel user discomfort is there. People feel the headsets are very bulky. If you see this image over here, this is one of the most advanced headsets, which was last week released by Meta, called Meta Orion. It was announced. And this is just the size of a spectacles that everyone is wearing. Compute and quality of simulation. So a major feedback we received was that the simulations are not very realistic. So there are constraints that we have because there is only so much processing power that can be fit into this much area. So Moore's law, this is basically Moore's law plotted over a century, which says that every 2 years, the compute doubles. So the amount of transistors that you can fit on a specific area will double every 2 years at the same cost. So as this trend keeps on going better, we will be able to create more realistic simulations. Now, what is possible with VR? So these are 4 things that I would like to say. I would like to end with that. There are 4 things. First is realistic environments with photogrammetry. These things are possible today. So photogrammetry is a technology where you take photos of an environment. I can take photos of this environment, and we can replicate it in the virtual world. And it is so good that you will not be able to find the difference between if you're in the virtual world or if you're in the real world. The next is AI characters. We've been working on this from quite some time. We have customers who are currently using it, and they're amazed by it. So when you wear the headset, you can actually have these characters around you with whom you can have conversations like you're having a conversation with a normal person. And whenever someone has a doubt, they don't have to take the headset off to ask the instructor. They can just ask this character. It is trained on the data of the industry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the next one is fully remote trainings, where somebody in some other part of the world wants to attend some training. They don't have to travel. They save a lot of costs in terms of travel, in terms of food, in terms of stay. So it's a direct ROI for companies where 2 people in different parts of the world can wear the headset, they can be in the same virtual room, and they can get trained together. The final one is what Captain Bajaj rightly pointed out is focus training. The granular data on trainees. You can get very detailed information about what kind of things the person is not able to do properly, and then the instructor or the supervisor can focus on those weaknesses particularly. Now, this is just a product that we have over there that you can check out. Marine AR, it's an augmented reality application. It is accessible by mobile phones as well as headset, and it's free of cost. You can download it from the Play Store. The QR is over there. If you want to scan the QR, you can also scan this. Okay. Thank you very much for listening.
I would like to call Captain Shaukat and Captain Arun Mehta, MD OSM Thome, for presenting the memento.